The Cubs can clinch the NL Central Championship if they sweep all 3 games in the upcoming series against the Redbirds. We've got Game 1 at 7 o'clock here on Comcast SportsNet. Kyle Hendricks looking for his 15th win. And with that, we welcome you into SportsNet Central, presented by Comcast Business. He's Pat Boyle. I'm Mark Shanowski. Cubs, as you know, would love to celebrate a division title at the home of their longtime division rivals on Wednesday. We'll bring you a live preview from Busch Stadium in a matter of moments.
Meanwhile, the Bears' NFC North division title celebration remains on hold right about now for the foreseeable future. Coach Wannstedt joins us. How would he improve that Bears offensive line? And Coach Fitz weighs in on the Cats' struggling offense. SportsNet Central, let's go.
You're connected to SportsNet Central, presented by Comcast Business.
Yes, the Cubs have to like their chances tonight. NL ERA leader Kyle Hendricks on the mound. The magic number currently 5, which of course means they need to win all 3 games to be able to pop the champagne in St. Louis on Wednesday. Joe Maddon speaking moments ago about the biggest transformation he's seen in Hendricks this season.
He's a meticulous planner. I do believe that he knows exactly what he wants to do per hitter, almost per pitch before the game begins. But then it's a matter of putting the ball where you want to. And that's been the uncanny part about his season this year, is that he comes up with this plan that he's been able to go out there and almost execute it to perfection every game. And again, hopefully that happens again tonight. But yeah, that's what he's about.
All right, let's take you live out to Busch Stadium. Welcome in our Patrick Mooney, the Cubs insider from CSNChicago.com. We just heard Joe Maddon. You've watched Kyle Hendricks throughout the season. What's the reason he's gone from being a very good Major League pitcher to a guy who's now a candidate for the NL Cy Young Award?
Well, Mark, I think I'm going to rewind it back to when the Cubs acquired Kyle Hendricks as a low minor league player from the Texas Rangers. The Cubs had built up Ryan Dempster the same way they did with Matt Garza, Scott Feldman, and those kind of flip deals to build for the future. And kind of the bedrock of that was this game planning system that ex-manager Dale Swaim and current coaches Chris Bosio and Mike Borzello have implemented this kind of Belichick style scouting system. And I think Kyle is exactly the type of pitcher who needs that and also really thrives on it. And that Joe Maddon just kind of mentioned it earlier, that he's able to take all this information, tailor it to his strengths. He's aware of his weaknesses, and it's really astounding when you look at some of these new wave stats like hard hit rate or inducing soft contact. And Kyle Hendricks is among the best in the game at this point. And so that's why you see him as someone that should be near the front of a playoff rotation, when at last August you thought of him maybe maximizing his ability as a 5th starter on a really good team. And kind of the development of Hendricks is one of the bigger stories of why the Cubs are in this position to clinch. It was so early and maybe kind of eliminate the Cardinals before they can get to the playoffs.
Well, as you know, the Cubs-Cardinals rivalry has been a great one over the years. These two teams could meet again in the divisional round come October. St. Louis currently owns a 7-6 edge in the season series. Do you get the sense the Cardinals would be pretty confident going up against Joe Maddon's bunch in the playoffs?
I think so. I mean, there's certainly familiarity there. I think you saw last year they weren't afraid of Jake Arrieta when he was the hottest pitcher on the planet. I think it'll come down to their pitching, which was really kind of in tatters by last October. They were kind of what the Cubs were, what the Cubs are this year. They were that 100-win team that kind of went cruising into the playoffs after such a big start. So yeah, I do think they'd be a dangerous team, and it's kind of that catch-22 situation that Joe Maddon alluded to last week in Milwaukee, that as the Giants, the Mets, and the Cardinals there's certainly a benefit in playing postseason type games, for weeks at a time. It's not like they're going to have to flip a switch, but is that also going to take a lot out of them? And that's why I think if you're the Cubs, you wouldn't mind clinching here, and then they come back to Wrigley. You can really have a chance to play spoiler and make sure that doesn't happen.
Addison Russell, another big game last night in Houston, 3 for 4 with that tape measure homer. People forget that Russell didn't play in the NLCS last year because of injury. Now he's batting in the middle of the batting order. How important is Russell to the Cubs' postseason hopes?
Yeah, without a doubt, Mario. You noticed it right away. As good as Javier Baez has been as a Gold Glove type super utility guy this year, that middle infield defense was a little shaky in the Mets. And Addison, as he develops into a middle of the order type hitter, can help neutralize some of that power pitching the Cubs saw last year against the Mets, and we'll see again this October. I mean, it's crazy to think he's already in kind of Ernie Banks territory as a 20 homer, 90 RBI guy, but as much as he solidified his defense last year when he bumped Starlin Castro off shortstop, he's really the same way offensively has taken this lineup to another level.
Patrick Mooney, thanks for joining us. Should be a great atmosphere at Busch Stadium over the next 3 days. Now it's time for you at home to get involved with tonight's Twitter question. We're wondering, do you think Kyle Hendricks has a chance at the Cy Young Award if he finishes the year strong? Use the hashtag Cubs Talk. We'll have some of your responses later in the show.
Hit-wise? I don't feel great.
Butler is taking a beating here in this second half.
We can't be helping 6 up off the ground like that. We should be patting him on the butt after touchdown passes.
Jay took a beating yesterday. He was hit 13 times, sacked 5. But if you zoom out and focus on players who might be part of the Bears' long-term plan, whether it was Tracy Porter's pick in the first quarter, Alshon hauling in that 54-yard pass just before the half, or Trevathan and Freeman teaming up for 28 tackles. There were some positive things to take away from that 23-14 loss in Houston. This graphic would not be in the positive category. Bears dropping to 0-4 all-time against Houston. As you might deduce, that's their worst win percentage against any team in the regular season among active franchises. With continuing coverage on what went wrong and, right, let's send it over to Mark and the coach, Dave Wannstedt.
John Fox will see some good things and some obvious areas the Bears need to work on when he pores over the tape from Sunday's loss in Houston. Let's start with the offensive line. They gave up 5 sacks, 4 of those coming in the second half when Romeo Crennel ran a lot of stunts. Now that interior of the offensive line, you got the rookie Cody Whitehair at center. Josh Sitton just signed with the Bears. Kyle Long at the guards. How long is it going to take for them to develop chemistry and communication where they can pick up those tackle twists?
Well, it could take as much of a couple weeks. You hate to say that, but keep in mind, it's center. You got a player starting at center. Remember, it's a rookie, and when in college, he was a guard. He wasn't even a center. So not only is he a new player in the league, trying to work with veteran guys, but he's also playing a different position. I mean, then you get a guy that shows up the week of the game. And then the other one's been banged up and hurt, Kyle Long. So it's not easy. It'll take a couple weeks.
On the defensive side of the ball against the Texans, Houston converts 12 of 20 on third down, which is way too high. Texans dominate time of possession, something like 36 minutes to 24. How can they rectify that situation?
Run the ball. I mean, run the ball on offense, which obviously helps your defense and helps you win that possession time. And then obviously, this is something that the Bears really, I hate to say this, but some of the things that show up in preseason, carry over to the season. And their offensive third down conversions were not great in the preseason. We're seeing a little bit of it right now. But at 30%, which they converted against Houston, I mean, you got to be 35 to 40% to be in the middle of the league. 30% will put you down at the bottom.
There were a lot of good things on the defensive side. The secondary held up better than we expected. Tracy Porter had the nice interception, which set up the Bears' first score. And top draft pick Leonard Floyd came out of Georgia.
Yeah.
Who knows what he weighs? 235, 240, 245, but he's light to play that outside linebacker or rush end. he was pretty good. He combined for a sack in that game, and he also got more snaps than we expected. How much of an impact can Leonard Floyd have as a rookie?
Well, I think he'll just get better and better every week, and to play great defense, particularly young players. If they know what to do and they give phenomenal effort, they're going to make plays for you. That's what I've always believed. And when you watch his effort out there, I mean, he's going to chase the football, and he's going to learn the techniques as he grows and gets older. So I think he'll just get better, and better each week.
Put your coaching hat back on. If you were D coordinator of the Bears and you had a guy, a raw athlete like Leonard Floyd, who you know was a little bit light, how would you use him?
I'd use him just like that. I probably wouldn't have him dropping much into coverage because I would want to get him as many practice reps as I possibly could doing one thing. Let's get really good at this. And it's going to be rushing the passers, so I'd keep him down there with the pass rushers, and I'd let him get as many possible reps in practice against our own guys as you could. Leave him there. Hey, know what to do, right? Eliminate all the other stuff. And play hard. He'll do those things. He'll make plays.
Hey, Coach, we're going to be glad to have you Thursday. It's the premiere of The Hard Count with Brian Urlacher. Brian's going to be working with us this year. I know you didn't coach him when he was with the Bears, but what are your memories of Brian Urlacher?
I remember we were evaluating him before he came out of college. And in fact, I was at the Dolphins when he came out, when the Bears drafted him. He was a safety, obviously, and when the Bears moved him to linebacker, I thought he'd be a fullback. Okay? I liked his hands. I said, put him on offense.
Well, he played safety at New Mexico. I think he played a little tight end as well, and now he's going to the Hall of Fame as one of the premier middle linebackers of all time. It's The Hard Count with Brian Urlacher. That's coming up Thursday at 10:30 here on CSN Chicago. Coach, thank you very much. We'll see you then.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mark.
We send it back over to the other side of the studio.
And Mark, we got a CSN injury alert for you now. The Browns will not have the services of Robert Griffin III for at least the next 8 games, possibly the rest of the season. He's been placed on IR after he fractured a bone in his left shoulder late in the loss to Philly yesterday. No word yet if he needs surgery on that shoulder. Former Bear Josh McCown will take over the starting quarterbacking duties.
Yeah, it's back to baseball after a quick timeout. Much more on Kyle Hendricks, who will look deeper into the numbers behind his recent success. And as Sox fans know, the wins haven't exactly been piling up for Chris Sale lately. But his skipper, Robin Ventura, tells us Sale is still the best pitcher in the American League. Also got college football on the way. The Illini and the Wildcats trying to bounce back from losses over the weekend. We'll hear from Lovey and Coach Fitz on what they need to fix next on SportsNet Central.
SportsNet Central brought to you by Comcast Business. Comcast Business, built for business.
Hey, how's it going? Hotcakes? Hotcakes.
This place has hotcakes.
Hotcakes.
So why aren't they selling like hotcakes? With Comcast Business Internet and Wi-Fi Pro, they could be. Just add a customized message to your Wi-Fi Pro splash page, and you'll reach your customers where their eyes are already, on their devices. Order up. It's more than just Wi-Fi. It can help grow your business. You don't see that every day.
Introducing Wi-Fi Pro. Wi-Fi that helps grow your business. Comcast Business. Built for business.
The Honda Take Home a CRV sales event is here with incredible deals. Loaded with standard features like Pandora compatibility, a multi-angle rear view camera, and plenty of cargo space. It's no wonder the CRV was named Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Buy for 2016. Hurry into the Honda Take Home a CRV sales event and get a great deal today.
One day, a rider made a decision. The decision to ride on and save money. He decided to save money by switching his motorcycle insurance to Geico. There's no shame in saving money. Ride on, ride proud. Geico Motorcycle. Great rates for great rides.
You still have time to join our party tonight at 7 o'clock. Enjoy one of baseball's biggest rivalries as CSN Chicago hosts a Coors Light viewing party at Wildwood Tavern in Niles. So stop on by. You get 45 minutes or so to get there. Watch Chicago play St. Louis and enjoy ice-cold Coors Light. Great beer equals great responsibility.
We are leading you up to Cubs baseball at the top of the hour here on Comcast Sportsnet. Kyle Hendricks facing Cardinals right-hander Mike Leake. Leake is 9-9 on the year, an ERA pushing 5. He faced the Cubs back on August 14th, giving up 3 runs over 6 innings. The Redbirds won that game 6-4. Now it's time for tonight's Built for Business, presented by Comcast Business. Hendricks has been unbeatable over his last 7 outings, going 5-0 with a 1.30 earned run average. During that span, he's allowed just 31 hits in 48-plus innings, 42 Ks, and just 9 walks. Kyle Hendricks has been unbelievable. Comcast Business, built for business. And speaking of Kyle Hendricks, coming up on Thursday night at 11 o'clock, we go in depth with the young right-hander. It's the next edition of Inside Look, presented by Cadillac. David Kaplan talks one-on-one with Hendricks, gets his thoughts on being part of the Cy Young conversation, and Hendricks will tell us what it's like to play for Cool Joe Madden. That's Inside Look Thursday night at 11 o'clock.
Well, while most network shows are starting to air new episodes this week, watching a White Sox game on Comcast Sportsnet may feel like a summer rerun. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Chris Sale pitched great, had double-digit strikeouts, gave up 2 earned, but lost the game.
In extra innings.
In extra innings, yeah. It happened again to Sale on the south side yesterday, not the extra innings part. He struck out 12 Royals in 8 innings of work while becoming the first Sox pitcher with 4 consecutive 200 strikeout campaigns. Unfortunately, Sox did not provide any rub support, which, has been a theme. The Cruncher breaks down Sale's starts. First 9, well, Sale was stellar, and so was the team, going 9-0. Middle 9 for Chris, ERA just under 6. That's not good. And a 5-4 record for the team. Last 10 starts for Sale, 2.47 ERA. Only 2 wins to show for the team. Despite the lack of team victories, does Robin still think Sale is the best pitcher in the AL?
Every time you watch him, you see something a little bit different. And, yesterday I just think, the situations he got himself in, he was able to strike somebody out, strike out the side. And that's important. It's important that he still has that kind of velocity and that kind of endurance and strength late in the season, late in the game, to be able to do the things that he does. He can't hit, so I think that becomes a different aspect to him. But as far as him going out there and having the stuff to be a Cy Young worthy guy, absolutely.
Miguel Gonzalez makes his second start after missing a month with a groin injury. Gonzalez was stellar in his last outing. 6 scoreless frames against the Tigers. On the other side of things, Carlos Carrasco goes for the Tribe. He's 11-7 with a 3.15 ERA, but he struggled as of late, posting an ERA of 4.5 in his last 9 starts. Well, you can scan the entire Bears roster and find players with an up and down performance in the opener against the Texans, including receivers Alshon Jeffrey and Kevin White. And we know Lovie Smith likes to play the no respect card as his team gets ready for their next game. This week, Vegas is helping to put the fight into the lineup.
Hey, Ralph Punzel.
Oh, hey, Ronnie.
Where are you headed?
Great Clips.
You're getting a haircut?
I checked in already. Using their online check-in.
Online check?
It saves you time.
You're getting a haircut.
Why? Thinking about applying to astronaut school.
That's cool.
Okay, I'll see you, Ronnie.
Save time every time. Download the online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Esurance does auto insurance a smarter way, like their photo claims tool. It helps settle your claim quickly, which saves time, which saves money. And when they save, you save. That's auto and home insurance for the modern world. Esurance, an Allstate company. Click or call. Esurance does insurance a smarter way, which saves money, like bundling home and auto coverage, which reduces red tape, which saves money. And when they save, you save. That's home and auto insurance for the modern world. Esurance, an Allstate company. Click or call.
Quiet on the set. Take 73. What? It's a... Saving big is no laughing matter. At the Bob Roman Auto Group, over 7,000 new and used cars online at bobrorman.com.
There's only one Bob Roman.
The old dorm, if these walls could talk.
Stop hammer time.
I think the wall is talking.
MC Hammer? He can't touch this.
And when you're hanging in the dorm, you shouldn't touch this or this. Here, use command hooks instead. Hold strong, damage-free. Just peel, stick, and ta-da! Then when school is out, stretch command hook off and ta-da, ta-da!
Legit.
Still legit.
Oh.
What's happening?
Command, do no harm.
The kick is on the way. And he got it. It doinked off the left upright and in. And Illinois State defeats Northwestern 9-7. The first time the Redbirds have ever beaten a Big Ten school.
That was one of the shockers from the college football weekend. You know, Northwestern students haven't even returned to start their fall classes, but already Pat Fitzgerald's football team is in danger of seeing the 2016 campaign spiral out of control after losing 9-7 to an Illinois State team that plays in the smaller school FCS division. It's back to the drawing board for Coach Fitz and the Cats, especially on the offensive side, where Clayton Thorson and company have struggled to finish off drives in the opening 2 weeks.
I'm really excited about tomorrow's practice. You know, where we're at right now, I think predicting and projecting is a waste of my time because obviously I couldn't have predicted that our O-line would have played the way that they did on Saturday. So if I would have played some of the twos the whole day. So tomorrow's a really important practice for this year's team. You know, the attitude which they demonstrate and the way that we go out and execute fundamentally. I mean, that was the biggest thing. I mean, you look at some things that we drill and we work, and then we get out in the moment and it doesn't happen. You just sit there and you scratch your head as a coach. So you look at the guys and you ask them why, and then you go out and you just keep grinding at it and flux competition. So, you know, that's where we're at.
So what happens when you get thumped by unranked North Carolina 48-23? Well, the Sharps in Vegas make you a 3.5-point underdog at home to 2-0 Western Michigan. Lovey, your thoughts?
We don't need a lot of motivation. We lost this past week, and that's the motivation enough for us to play a better game. I don't see the University of Illinois being underdogs to many people here at home, though. Western Michigan is a good football team, good undefeated football team that has beaten a Big Ten opponent, put a lot of points on the board last week. And again, looking at our schedule before the season started, you knew that this would be one of those games for us to truly measure exactly how far we've come, and that will be the case.
Yeah, P.J. Fluck let him row in the boat down to Champaign-Urbana. Well, back to Lovey's old team. Alshon Jeffrey caught 4 passes for 105 yards in the first half against the Texans. Didn't have a single catch after the break, plus that key drop that stopped the drive. As for Kevin White, 3 catches, 34 yards, but then he broke off a route that led to the Jay Cutler interception that changed the momentum. Here's Dave Wanstead discussing White's potential.
I really like Kevin, you know, and had a good talk this summer with his college coach, Dana Holgerson, down there at West Virginia about Kevin. And, you know, again, just because he was here last year, let me say this, everybody assumes, oh, he's not a rookie. He was here last year. Well, he was here last year. Half the time, you know, you're not traveling with the team, you're missing meetings, you got to go see a doctor.
Yeah.
So you're getting probably half of it, and there's nothing like doing it. You know, we can sit there and read all the books we want. Hey, go out and do it once yourself, and then all of a sudden the light goes on. So, you know, he's not a veteran player. I'm looking at him as a rookie. He'll get better every week after week after week.
Hey, we're taking you to Bases Loaded at the bottom of the hour, and then the baton will be passed to Cubs baseball in St. Louis at 7 o'clock.
Great time for a shiny floor wax, no? Not if you just put the finishing touches on your latest masterpiece. Timing's important. Comcast Business knows that. That's why you can schedule an installation at a time that works for you, even late at night or on the weekend if that's what you need, because you have enough to worry about. I did not see that coming.
Don't deal with disruptions. Get better internet installed on your schedule. Comcast Business, built for business.
It's Elk Money Ford's Blowout Extravaganza event. Right now, you can buy a Ford Focus for $100 down and only $169 a month. That's right, only $100 down and $169 a month. Or get 0% financing for 72 months. Plus, get up to $2,750 cash back. Get the car you want with over 1,000 cars to choose from and the lowest prices of the year. You can't beat that. The Blowout Extravaganza event, only at the original Elk Money Ford Melrose Park, 25th and North Avenue.
You may not be a prepper now, but you will be. Whether the next disaster is man-made or wrought by Mother Nature, you need a plan. WiseFoodStorage.com's emergency gourmet meals are made in the USA, delicious, easy to prepare, just add water, and packaged and proportioned perfectly, eliminating waste and creating a shelf life of up to 25 years.
Get your free sample now. Call in the next 15 minutes and get your free survival guide. Call 800-793-8309.
Attention blood thinner users. Thousands of blood thinner users may have been exposed to serious risk by these dangerous medications. If your loved one took Xarelto or Pradaxa and suffered serious internal bleeding, call right now. Call Nightline Legal to speak with an experienced attorney for a free consultation. If we don't win, there is no fee. There are time deadlines to file a claim, so don't wait. Call right now.
Call 1-800-496-9019. Again, that's 1-800-496-9019.
If your loved one received an IVC filter to prevent blood clots and later experienced complications, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters can move or fracture, causing serious injuries such as heart damage, lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. Don't wait. Call right now.
Call 1-800-620-3915. Again, that's 1-800-620-3915.
Early in the show, we asked you if Kyle Hendricks has a realistic shot at the Cy Young with a strong finish. Curtis says realistic. He's a front runner, blowing the rest of the league out in earned run average. Meanwhile, Karen says Kyle should win, but the voters will probably go with the power arms of Scherzer and Bumgarner. John Lester and Jake Arrieta will split votes with Hendricks. Thanks for helping us out. And Kyle will continue his Cy candidacy at the top of the hour here on CSN. Thanks for watching SportsNet Central, presented by Comcast Business.
And that splitting the votes is a real problem with Arrieta and Lester. Up next, a brand new edition of Bases Loaded. That's followed by Game 1 of the Cubs-Cardinals series at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Enjoy your night of Cubs baseball.
Hey, how's it going? Hotcakes? Hotcakes.
This place has hotcakes.
Hotcakes.
So why aren't they selling like hotcakes? With Comcast Business Internet and Wi-Fi Pro, they could be. Just add a customized message to your Wi-Fi Pro splash page, and you'll reach your customers where their eyes are already, on their devices. Order up. It's more than just Wi-Fi. It can help grow your business. You don't see that every day.
Introducing Wi-Fi Pro. Wi-Fi that helps grow your business. Comcast Business, built for business.
For true Chicagoans, the White Sox are a part of our DNA. From Hyde Park to Park Ridge, we wear our hearts on our pinstripe jersey sleeves. From 79th through Bridgeport, from Bronzeville to Naperville, we're loyal to the team through thick and thin. We come from all walks of life and neighborhoods, but remain united by what takes place at 35th and Shields. We take pride in our city, and we take pride in the game.
With robotic technology, we can now regrow your natural hair. It's permanent and it's your real hair. And I should know because I had the same procedure done to myself.
Join the million-plus satisfied customers who have dramatically improved their appearance. There are no plugs, no stitches, just great-looking hair to regain your confidence.
You owe it to yourself.
The technology is here. The time is now. Fantastic results, flexible payments. Call today.
We asked a group of young people when they thought they should start saving for retirement. Then we asked some older people when they actually did start saving. This gap between when we should start saving and when we actually do is one of the reasons why too many of us aren't prepared for retirement.
Just start as early as you can. It's going to pay off in the future.
If we all start saving a little more today, we'll all be better prepared tomorrow.
Prudential, bring your challenges.
Discovery Sport, beyond boundaries. Range Rover Evoque, beyond convention. Range Rover Sport, beyond expectations. Wherever you drive, we always take you above and beyond. The new Discovery Sport. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Well, hello and welcome to another edition of Bases Loaded. I'm Layla Rahimi, and thank you for joining me as we get you ready for first pitch between the Cubs and the Cardinals from St. Louis. It is 30 minutes of nothing but baseball as we take a look at the Cubs and the White Sox and go back in time to take a special look at the Cubs and Cardinals rivalry. But we begin with the Cubs taking the series from an old NL Central rival down in Houston.
Bregman in the air, foul ground, and caught. Sliding grab by Jason Hayward, 2 down. Good bunt. Baez pounces out of front of first. He got him. That is a great play even for Javier Baez. I didn't think he had a prayer. Takes off for third, and he's out. The Ross Baez tandem. He's batting second, which has bought maybe a few extra trips. High in the air, left field. As you were saying, JD, look what you're missing. 2-0 Cubs. He's back in the National League lead. Cubs win 2-0 the final.
He has been everything the Astros could have hoped. Gonzalez bunting, the squeeze plays on. They beat Joe Madden at his own game.
Jorge Soler launches one to deep left center field and gone. 4-0 Cubs. High fly ball hit a ton up onto the railroad tracks for his 20th home run of the season. And the Cubs win it. They come to Houston. They take 2 out of 3. Their magic number to clinch the National League Central Division championship is now 5.
So the Cubs' magic number now stands at 5 thanks to the win on Sunday and a Cardinals loss to the Brewers. Now let's go live to Busch Stadium, and that is where we find ESPN's Jesse Rogers. And Jesse, the Cubs buzz is coming to a head. Fans smell blood in the water, and with the idea that a sweep could lead to the Cubs clinching the Central in St. Louis. So what is the emotion of the team and the players as they prepare for this series?
Well, they're doing the right thing. They're taking it one game at a time because everybody has them celebrating Wednesday in the visitors' locker room here. It takes a lot to sweep a team on the road, especially a team still in the playoff hunt as the Cardinals are. So as Kyle Hendricks, tonight's starter, told me yesterday, it really is a win-win. If they don't do it by Wednesday, they'll do it certainly at home Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They're home for a long homestand. So it's a win-win. They either do it here and get it over with, or they do it in front of their home crowd at Wrigley Field. Either way, it's going to be quite the celebration. No one, including Joe Madden, even Jed Hoyer, who's on this trip, no one thought they could do it this early and do it with this wide of a margin mid-September here.
I mean, these are certainly Cubs problems, aren't they, Jesse? Even when they lose in St. Louis, they still win. Now, we know what the series means to the Cubs, but what about the Cardinals? Some reports still clinging to hope that a division win is possible. We all know that's pretty much out of the question, but the reality is the playoffs are still very much in the balance for this team.
Yeah, it's a tough road, though. After this, they go to San Francisco for 4 games. That's probably a more important series for the Cardinals than against the Cubs. Who would have thought that early on this season? It's not the Cubs they're worried about. It is a team like the Giants or the New York Mets. So Just having been here a few hours, it does feel like this team's in a little bit of a survival mode. Very different than what we're used to around the Cardinals and their mystique. I wouldn't put it past them to make the playoffs for a 6th consecutive season, but they're not going to, at least at this point, they're not going to exactly go into it, with a roar. They might limp in, or unless they get hot these next few weeks, we'll see. I would never count the Cardinals out, but it certainly is a different feel around this team. They certainly don't think they're out of it. And again, they've made it 5 years in a row, so you can never say never with the Cardinals.
That is definitely the case. Conventional thinking tells us that. Now, Kyle Hendricks takes the mound for the Northsiders. Jesse, how would you describe what Hendricks has done this season?
Pretty amazing. Maybe the most amazing of all those young players doing amazing things this year, including Addison Russell. We almost expected out of Chris Bryant. Remember, Addison Russell was a first-round pick as well. Kyle Hendricks was in microeconomics class a half a decade ago at Dartmouth. Now he's MLB's ERA leader. That's quite the leap there, and he's doing it by half a run right now. He might lower it before it's all said and done, under 2 in terms of earned run average. So the numbers he's putting up and the performance, the eye test, is just amazing this year. And this could be his 20th consecutive start giving up 3 runs or less. That's the definition of keeping your team in the game almost every time you take the mound.
Do you think he's getting enough attention when it comes to the Cy Young discussion?
No, probably not. You have to understand he doesn't have the name recognition around the league as other guys. He's not as much flair to his game with the strikeouts and not as many innings pitched. So when the voters take a look at some of the stats, some of them will not jump off the page, but one big one should, and that's the earned run average. If you dig a little deeper, as Joe Madden put it, look under the hood a little bit, you'll see some cool numbers like very light contact. Look, if he finishes in the top 3, that's a heck of an accomplishment. He may just not win it, though.
I appreciate the insight, Jesse Rogers from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Thank you for the time here on Bases Loaded.
Anytime. Take care.
Thanks. Now let's take a look at the Cubs lineup. You see it there, Dexter Fowler in center field, batting leadoff. Then it's Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Ben Zobrist in left field at Busch Stadium. Addison Russell, Miguel Montero, Jason Hayward, Javi Baez, and Kyle Hendricks on the hill as we get you ready here for first pitch. And here was Joe Madden on the chance to clinch the division in St. Louis.
It doesn't. Honestly, it doesn't. It just matters that we do. You'd always rather it happen sooner rather than later, just in order to make plans. But I have no preference. Just to do it would be my preference.
Is it nicer to be able to make plans as opposed to last year when you had to go all the way?
I don't know. I'll let you know. I'll let you know. I mean, I've never been in a position before where you have this opportunity to do it with X number of games left. So we'll find out. I mean, it's a different kind of a challenge. I really don't know the answer to that, right? I don't. I know I've been down to the last game, the 163. I've been down to that. Been in 2 wild card games. I know that, but I don't know what it's like to be in a position where you've done well enough to set it up a little bit more clearly. I just don't know.
Now to the White Sox, and another year, another franchise record for Chris Sale. On Sunday, the lefty became the first Sox pitcher to have 200-plus strikeout seasons for 4 years in a row. Sale fanned 12 Royals batters, but unfortunately, despite another dominating performance, the Sox lost 2-0. And in Sale's last 4 starts, the team has averaged less than 1.5 runs of support per game. The record Sale broke was previously held by Ed Walsh. That record stood for 104 years. More recently, Javier Vasquez had 2 in a row in 2007 and 2008. Then it was Walsh with another 2, and Tom Bradley as well. Sale is second in the American League in ERA, and while he knows he struck out a few, he's also more proud of another stat.
I think more than anything, it's the innings. I was told very early on when I got here, 200 innings is the benchmark for a starting pitcher. Doesn't matter what anything else. You go out there and fill up innings. All the other stuff is gonna work out. So, I appreciate it absolutely. I don't want to act like it's not cool or like I'm unappreciative of it. But there's not a single part of me wouldn't give all that to be in the playoffs 4 years in a row.
And now we go to the south side in U.S. Cellular Field. That is where we find our insider, Dan Hayes. And Dan, it was another all-too-typical game on Sunday. Chris Sale strikes out 12 batters, but the White Sox can't give him any run support. So how has Sale been able to pitch around this, and what is his mentality when it comes to these results?
Well, it's nothing new with the White Sox. This has been an offense that's struggled for a couple years. We've seen it especially with Jose Quintana and all the with all the quality starts and no decisions over the years. Sale's actually benefited more than most of the other guys. He's somewhere around middle of the league in run support, so he's actually benefited all right. He's had a rough run here lately, and honestly, you look at the way he's pitched these last 10 starts since the All-Star break, it's something that should have him heavily in the Cy Young contention, and maybe the wins might hurt him a little bit, but I mean, you look at it, he's averaged 7 2/3 innings over his last 10 starts. His ERA is 2.47 over those 10. It's even better in the last 5. In each of those last 5, he's gone 8 or more innings with a 1.9 ERA. I mean, he's having a fantastic season, and he's been stuck around that 15-win mark. He had 14 wins on July 2nd. We're talking about a guy who's pitched better than that, obviously could be at that 20-win mark and might be getting him a ton of coverage on the Cy Young. Instead, he's sort of in the middle of that pool. Corey Kluber's a tough competitor for it, and guys like that. It's a really good year, and I think, you know, people may have to look deeper than that to put him up there, but he should be pretty high on Cy Young ballots.
I completely agree, Dan, especially when Rick Porcello is getting so much attention. Now, 20 wins is 20 wins. Now, moving back to the White Sox, Miguel Gonzalez is taking the hill. It's his 20th start of the season. He had a nice outing the last time against Detroit when he took the mound. What does Gonzalez have left to prove, and what do you think he's playing for right now?
Well, I don't think he has anything left to prove. One, he's got a year of team control left, which with the way he's pitched pretty much means he's on this roster next year unless they decide to go a different direction and rebuild, because at this point he's so valuable to them. Minus the start where he had to leave because of an injury, he's averaged more than 6 since July 1. Over those 9 starts, he's had a 2.38 ERA. He's added a cut fastball, which has made him more dangerous to hitters on both sides of the plate. And he's been dependable at the back end of the rotation. That's something this team has lacked early in this season. Obviously, James Shields has struggled on the 5 spot. Matt Lato struggled. John Dank struggled. Gonzalez has been so consistent, and he's got 3.8 ERA for the whole year. And that includes some tough assignments and spots starting early in the year. I think that really he's done a great job for them and has shown them exactly what he did those first 3 years in Baltimore. They can bring it again.
Dan Hayes raising the Chris Sale awareness. I like it, from U.S. Cellular Field. Thanks for joining me on Bases Loaded. We, of course, look forward to your updates during the game.
All right, thanks for having me.
The Cubs are on the verge of winning the Central Division, and coming up, we will take a look back at some of the clinching games. Plus, more on tonight's starter, Kyle Hendricks. Our Luke Stuckmeyer sat down with Hendricks to discuss the changes he has made this season to become one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. And as we take a look at Busch Stadium, we are still getting ready for first pitch in St. Louis. Just over 32.5 minutes to first pitch between the Cubs and the Cardinals. Much more on Bases Loaded straight ahead.
When the temperature drops, winter tires are safer below 45 degrees. Buy now and get a $50 Visa prepaid card on any set of winter tires purchased with your Discount Tire credit card. Thank you, Discount Tire.
I've been thinking, this might be the one thing in the world you pull apart to come together.
New Papa John's Cinnamon Pull-Aparts covered with cinnamon crumble and sweet cream cheese icing. Try our new Cinnamon Pull-Aparts for just $6.
Hey, Papa John's.
We are the Coors Brewing Company, and our mountain is brewing the world's most refreshing beer. A beer proud enough to wear our name in big, red, scripted letters. That's why we lager, filter, and package cold. Because we believe every climb deserves a refreshing finish. Whatever your mountain, climb on.
There are things in life that just go together. It's like they're always side by side. Because when we put them together, they're better. Like home and auto insurance from State Farm. They just go together. And they save you time and money. Just another way we're here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today.
case you need anything, just give me a call.
P.O. Box 17. Of course I'm a real company.
You got the area code.
Everything your customers see tells a story. Let the UPS store help you tell the right one. From business cards and banners to expertly packed shipments to mailboxes with a real street address. Come in today for help.
One ball, 2 strikes, a pitch. Hey, Cubs win the division! Cubs win the division! Cubs win the division!
Double play ball. Second base wide. On to first. The Cubs are the champions of the Central. Look at that mob scene on the turf at Wrigley Field.
This could do it. 6, 4, 3. Cubs win. And they have guaranteed they'll play past Sunday.
Kerry Wood is on the mound trying to save it here in the 9th. The Cubs so close. Foul ball. For the first time in a century, back-to-back postseasons for the Cubs.
The Cubs are looking to clinch their 6th division crown in their history. How about those graphics, by the way? The Northsiders won the NL East in 1984 and 1989. They took the 90s off before winning in 2003 and back-to-back division titles in 2007 and 2008. And with a sweep of the Cardinals this week, they would add 2016 to that list.
All you got to do is look at the overall numbers. The command, the execution of pitches, I thought it was back in 1987. It was Greg Maddox on the mound.
Well, leave it to a guy nicknamed the Professor to take us all to school. The underrated Cubs starter is leading baseball in ERA at 2.07. The next in line is the Mets' Noah Syndergaard at 2.48. Kyle Hendricks is turning heads, and not just in baseball, but at the plate as well. He's making hitters miss in consistent and productive ways. Our Luke Stuckmeyer sat down with Hendricks to discuss his success.
In a rotation headlined by Jake Arrieta and John Lester, Hendricks just might be the Cubs' most consistent starter in 2016. Despite taking a step forward this season, Hendricks is just fine with taking a backseat to the attention.
I've always been that under-the-radar guy, probably because of the stuff, which is fine with me. You know, I'm just here trying to worry about, keep my consistency going, work on what I can work on, control what I can control.
While Hendricks admits to not having overpowering stuff, the Dartmouth grad gets his advantage in the classroom, using his days in between starts to rely heavily on analytics and scouting reports prepared by catching coach Mike Borzello. It's something he believes puts him over the top.
Oh, it's immense. I mean, I'm not the guy that goes out there and going to throw 98. I don't have the stuff that's going to beat you necessarily, so I think I need to pitch to a report, or at least, I need a report to make me successful. So the work he puts in, I think it helps me probably the most out of anybody on this team, just because I need it so much.
Here's a pitch. Swing and a miss. A dazzling changeup. Big strikeout for Hendricks.
Each one for each team takes hours. It's a lot of work. So it's broken down into, how you start a guy, how you finish a guy, in between counts, kind of what you do. So I take his information, all he gives me, and then I start watching video. But, it's a really good baseline for me. Then I start looking at actual physical, video, seeing guys' swings, what they actually look like, and how they play into that game plan, I guess, that's on paper. Then just see what weapons, that he puts in that plan that are mine that I can use.
Being smart helps, having a good memory, recall on things that were good, things that didn't go so well. But I think the one thing that people misinterpret is that this guy's got an internal burn and a competitiveness in him that really allows him to go out there and compete on an every start basis. He's looking at what the other starters are doing on our staff as well as other starters around the league, and he's applying it.
Maddox comeback sinker, and he gets a couple of guys on that pitch.
I remember when the Cubs made the trade for you, the first name that came up was Greg Maddux. It's a pretty good name to be linked to for a pitching style.
I did watch Maddux. It was towards the end of his career, but noticing how he pitched, how he used his two-seam, I was still in high school, so I wasn't throwing a two-seam yet. But just taking in those games and watching how he attacked hitters and attacked teams, I guess, overall lineups, I did learn a little bit from that. And now that I'm here, I think I'm starting to realize more and more the true genius he really was as a pitcher.
Whether Hendricks becomes the next Mad Dog is to be determined, but one thing is certain. The trade that brought him to the Cubs in 2012 kick-started his big league career, and it opened the door to an information superhighway.
Your path to the big leagues, it's different for everybody. There's a lot of luck involved. For me, getting traded over here, was part of that. But being part of this organization, I feel so lucky because I don't think any other team really does it the way we do it, especially with the reports and all the information we have, like you were saying. So for me, that being what I need and for me being on this team, it's a perfect fit for me, and I'm really lucky to be here.
Covering the Cubs, Luke Stuckmeyer, Comcast SportsNet.
Luke, thank you. And here is a look at Hendricks' numbers by the year, both his innings and his ERA. In 2014, he threw just over 80 innings, had a 2.46 ERA. A year later, he threw 100 more than the year before, and his earned run average went up as well to almost 4. This year, it's almost half less, a 207 mark, with 165 innings under his belt so far. We are getting you ready for first pitch between the Cubs and the Cardinals here on Bases Loaded. And coming up next, we look back at some of the most memorable moments in the rivalry, including a brawl from the 70s that you may have never seen.
Pat Hughes reporting from Wrigleyville Sports, where the excitement is building. Devin is getting a new home white jersey customized while he waits. He'll be ready for game action in no time. Ashley is having fun taking selfies in her new Cubs t-shirt. Fits like a glove. Colin is testing out a new bat. Get out the tape measure, long gone. Across the street from Wrigley Field, Wrigleyville Sports is your one-stop shop for everything Cubs. Open 7 days a week or anytime at WrigleyvilleSports.com.
Come into Steak and Shake for hand-dipped milkshakes. Better yet, come into Steak and Shake for hand-dipped milkshakes at half price during Half Price Happier Hour. Weekdays, now 2 to 5 at Steak and Shake. New at Steak and Shake, 24 meals under $4 with handcrafted steak burgers, all beef footlongs, and fresh guacamole made from scratch. Get 24 meals for under $4. New at Steak and Shake.
Go for a walk. Kirby! Kirby!
Some things work better when they're connected, like your HD DVR. Connected to the internet now, and you can restart shows already in progress with one click. Even reverse time and watch shows you've missed in the last 72 hours. Connecting your HD DVR is easy and it's free. Go to directtv.com/connect to learn how.
My 95-year-old mother developed a deep bed sore in the nursing home. They told me this was normal, but it didn't sound right to me. I immediately called the nursing home lawyers at Pintas and Mullins.
If you or a loved one has suffered from bed sores, sepsis, broken bones, physical or sexual abuse, malnutrition, or choking, call me now and we'll investigate your case.
Pintas and Mullins got my family $800,000 from the insurance company.
You pay us nothing unless we get you a settlement.
When I have an asthma attack, I feel scared. Sometimes my parents have to take me to the hospital. I feel like a fish with no water.
You know how to react to their asthma attacks. Here's how to prevent them. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS. Visit www.noattacks.org or call your doctor. Because even one attack is one too many.
This Thursday, it is the debut of Inside Look with Kyle Hendricks. Our David Kaplan sits down with the righty to discuss his journey from the minors into a Cy Young contender for the first place Cubs. That is this Thursday at 11 o'clock. You don't want to miss it. First pitch from St. Louis is just a few minutes away as we continue to get you ready. Hendricks looking for his 15th win of the season, taking on Mike Leake, who is 9-9 with a 4.61 ERA. Leake only went 4 1/3 innings his last time out. He allowed 3 runs on 9 hits against the Pirates. but it was his first start coming off of the disabled list. Now, this is not your friend from last year's NL Central, people. Remember what the standings were at this time last year? The Cardinals were 88-53 and leading the division. Meanwhile, the Pirates were second at 84-56. Then the Cubs at 82-58. It was the most competitive division in baseball. This year, the Cubs are 9 games better than that mark. Then it's St. Louis, then Pittsburgh, and the news gets worse for the Pirates, who just found out that Josh Harrison is lost for the season because of a groin injury. Tonight is game number 2,254 between the Cubs and the Cardinals, and the margin of victory in this series is only 29 games. That's how many more the Cardinals have won than the Cubs. It is considered one of the best rivalries in baseball for a reason. So let's take a look back at some of the most memorable games between the two clubs. And we start with a fight. The two teams cleared the benches in a fight on September 22nd, 1974. Let's listen in.
Now both managers have gotten into it, and he says pitch the ball, and he calls a strike on him. Wow, this is the strangest thing I've ever seen. Now, wait a minute, hold on here. Now Ted Simmons is getting into it, throwing punches at Madlock, and down they go as the bench is clear. Now the ball players who at first were venting their anger.
Because Bill Madlock went back to the on-deck circle to put pine tar on his bat. Al Raboski getting into it as well. So let's fast forward 10 years later to the famous Sandberg game that let the world know about the 1984 Cubs. Ryden Sandberg hit 2 game-tying home runs off of Bruce Sutter at Wrigley Field. One in the 9th, another in the 10th, and the Cubs went on to win the game and the division.
Traxel winds and fires. Big Mac swing and a shot into the corner. It might make it. There it is. 62, folks. It just got over the left field wall in the corner. And we have a new home run champion.
Who could forget the home run race of 1998? That one important as well. And then this one in September of 2003, the Cubs and Cardinals. This, Mark McGwire breaking the home run record. Sammy Sosa did it as well. The two sluggers celebrated together.
We don't start stuff, but we will stop stuff.
Swung on, hit the air, deep right field, get out the tape measure, long gone. Kyle Schwarber just hit one onto Sheffield Avenue. And the 0-2, swing and a miss. Cubs win, Cubs win, Cubs win.
From Chicago, coming up next.
After Joe Madden called out the Cardinal way during the regular season, the Cubs won the first ever postseason matchup between the two teams, taking the NLDS in 4 games and celebrating at Wrigley Field. Thanks for watching Bases Loaded here on Comcast Sportsnet. Don't forget, Cap and Holly have Cubs post-game live immediately following the game. Cubs and Cardinals from Busch Stadium are next here on Comcast Sportsnet.
Swinging out to Vegas for the weekend. Roll, just roll those dice. On a swinging night in the town.
Safety comes standard on the Toyota Corolla, which is probably why we've received such high safety ratings. Then consider that the Corolla is thoroughly tested to ensure quality, so you know it's built to last. It's no wonder 90% of all Toyota Corollas sold in the last 10 years are still on the road today. Tested, trusted, Toyota. Lease a new 2016 Corolla with 0 due at signing and 0 first month's payment. Or get 0% APR for 72 months on Corolla. Find yours at buyatoyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
The honor and discipline displayed by our military has inspired me on the mound and in my music. That's why I've always supported programs to raise money and awareness for our injured troops and their families.
USAA. Insurance, banking, and investments tailored for the military community.
Shop like a pro at Bass Pro Shops with 2 big sales to gear up and save. Like a wide selection of men's and ladies' fleece from Columbia, Redhead, Under Armour, and the North Face. Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here.
If I can't stand up on my own, don't make me stand alone. Lift me up so I can see the light. When the sun goes down, I will lay in your arms tonight. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Your heart's been repaid.
Ford is America's best-selling brand, and you can see why. Ford Fusion has the turbocharged power and efficiency of the EcoBoost engine and handles almost any condition with intelligent all-wheel drive. Plus, Focus offers next-generation voice-activated Sync 3 technology and the added safety of the blind spot information system. Right now, get a Focus or Fusion with 0 for 72 plus $1,750 bonus cash, or lease a Fusion for just $189 a month. Only at your local Ford store.
CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. Beautiful night in downtown St. Louis. Cubs and the Cardinals open up a 3-game series. The Cubs' magic number to win the division down to 5. And welcome to Cubs baseball here on CSN, along with Jim DeShays. I'm Len Casper. 20 games to go, 3 weeks left in the regular campaign. The question is, the Cubs are going to clinch. Where will it be? Here this week or back home at Wrigley?
Well, if they sweep this 3-game set, they will be popping the champagne here in St. Louis. That would be somewhat ironic, I guess, as you look at the tail of the tape, as you peruse these numbers. The Cardinals have won 7 of the 13 games. Better at Wrigley are the Cardinals than they are at home, and that's pretty much a microcosm of their season. They have really struggled to win here in their home ballpark.
So again, the Cubs would need to win all 3 games here to clinch on Wednesday, and the Cardinals probably aren't too worried about what the Cubs are doing, as they're a half game out of the wild card race right now.
Yeah, and they finish this series. They go on a long 10-day road trip that begins in San Francisco and ends in Chicago. So the Cardinals are up against it right now. The Mets have a very soft schedule the rest of the way.
So we've got a couple of strike throwers coming up tonight. Kyle Hendricks, Mike Leake. Let's focus in first on the Major League ERA leader.
Yeah, Kyle Hendricks just continues to dazzle. He's got an ERA of 1.2 something since the middle of June. And we take a look at the numbers on him. On 6+ days of rest this year, he's made 3 starts. He's 3-0 with an 0.96 ERA. Any way you dissect the numbers on Kyle Hendricks this year, they are flat out brilliant. Mike Leake, the veteran right-hander, first year in a Cardinal uniform, has been really good against the Cubs in his career. You'll remember him from his days with the Reds, 9-3 with a 3.24 against Chicago.
Second start for Leake since coming off the disabled list. Cubs and Cardinals, one of the best rivalries in all of sports, and they'll renew it coming up. Game 1 of this set is next.
Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. Ford, inviting you to check out their fuel-efficient lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency. Low fares. Nothing to hide.
Did you just see that? That was awesome. We have to try it. Okay. Okay, mine's not working. Maybe you have to bump it. Oh, yeah, do the bump it thing. Right. Okay. Yeah.
You can take money out using the BMO Harris app.
You want to buy a hairless cat? There's a pet store down the street.
Cool.
I think she said BMO Harris app. Yeah, that makes more sense.
When your phone is your debit card, that's the BMO effect. BMO Harris Bank. We're here to help.
Who said sporty couldn't be a little bit adventurous? At Elgin Hyundai, our amazing selection of new SUVs are dependable, fuel efficient, and built for adventure. Like this new 2017 Hyundai Santa Fe Sport with popular equipment package, just under $25,000. Or a new 2016 Hyundai Tucson SE, just under $21,000. Come take a test drive today at our brand new facility and start your next adventure at Elgin Hyundai. Visit ElginHyundai.com.
You're going to like buying a car this way. As a young man, I worked in the steel mills, where I learned the value of honest hard work. It's also where I saw firsthand how lives can be changed by tragic moments, how individuals or their families struggled in the aftermath. And it was then that I decided my life's work that while I may not be able to prevent tragic moments, I could fight to help better the lives of those who suffered them.
Hi, I'm David Kaplan, back in our downtown Chicago studios, back out to St. Louis for the first of three between the Cubs and Cards. In just a bit, Kyle Hendricks takes the mound for the Cubs, looking to continue and cement his name into Cy Young consideration. Hendricks has been unbeatable over his last 7 starts, 5-0. A ridiculous 130 earned run average during that span. He's allowed just 31 hits in 48-plus innings, 42 strikeouts, only 9 walks. So with the division all but nailed down, Joe Mann was asked if Hendricks can be the same pitcher in the month of October as he has been during the regular season.
His innings pitch should be right around 200, so that's good. I think we're giving them all extra rest right now, and again, that's good. So I don't see why not. I mean, everything's there, but we're trying to do that with all of our guys to keep them ready for that part of the year by keeping them sharp by playing them, but then also kind of governing a little bit how many pitches are thrown, how many innings they're pitching. So yeah, with all of them, I think they're all kind of peaking. I mean, like yesterday, Jake was a little bit under the weather, but that was it. For the most part, they're all peaking at the right time. I think Lackey's throwing the ball really good right now too.
Coming up on Thursday night at 11, we go in depth with Kyle Hendricks on the next edition of Inside Look presented by Cadillac. I sit down with Hendricks and get his thoughts on being part of the Cy Young conversation. Plus, Kyle tells us what it's like to play for Joe Madden. That's Inside Look Thursday night at 11 o'clock right here on Comcast SportsNet. That'll put a ribbon on it from our downtown Chicago studios. Kyle Hendricks and the Cubbies take on the St. Louis Cardinals next on CSN. Holly and I will see you after the final out for Cubs Postgame Live.
During the extended Labor Day sale, the wait is over. Introducing Magnolia Home by Joanna Gaines, available in stores now at Value City Furniture. Hurry in and experience Joanna's unique collection of furniture and accessories. 6 styles, endless possibilities. Plus, shop our extended selection of Magnolia Home products online at vcf.com. And don't miss your last chance to get free delivery right to your door. Plus, no interest if paid in full by January 2018. Now that's how to buy the perfect piece. Only at Value City Furniture.
It's Peyton. It's Peyton on Sunday morning.
E-Man.
What up, Peyton?
You know I have DirecTV NFL Sunday ticket. I get every game, every Sunday, all in HD.
Yeah, I know that.
So you want to come over? I'll make nachos.
I can't right now, man. I'm playing.
Oh, yeah. All right. Pencil you in for Tuesday.
Get NFL Sunday ticket included at no extra charge. Only on DirecTV.
Isaac Hu has mastered gravity-defying moves to amaze his audience.
Great show. Here you go.
Now he's added a new routine, making depositing a check seem so effortless. Easy to use Chase technology for whatever you're trying to master.
Isaac, are you ready?
Yeah. Chase, so you can.
Briggs is back. Tomorrow night on CSN, join former standout linebacker and 7-time Pro Bowler Lance Briggs for his take on the current state of the team, as well as a look ahead. The Lance Briggs Show returns tomorrow at 11 p.m. on CSN. Bears Huddle takes you behind closed doors and into the locker room every week for a preview of the upcoming Bears matchup. Use the hashtag BearsTalk and chat with us on Twitter. Bears Huddle, presented by Verizon, Wednesday at 4:30 on CSN.
The leadoff man is presented by Binny's Beverage Depot. If Dexter Fowler gets a hit to start the game, Binny's will donate $100 to the Greater Chicago Food Depository. Back here in St. Louis, Cubs and Cardinals opening up a 3-game set. And make sure you follow Patrick Mooney, our Cubs insider, all season long on CSNChicago.com. Presented by Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich, serving the community for 38 years. Go to jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. And Patrick is with us in the booth as we preview this big matchup. A lot of media in the Cubs clubhouse came down from Chicago as the Cubs have a chance to possibly clinch the division here. And with 3 weeks to go in the season, Patrick, I know a lot of people are already looking ahead to the next month.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like playoff hypotheticals have filled pretty much every media session with Joe Madden or the front office or even just talking amongst ourselves. But Jed Hoyer said today that they really haven't seriously discussed any sort of player rosters yet. I mean, sure, we can guess a little bit, but so much is going to depend on those last, 10 days, the, kind of who's hot factor, and also the playoff opponent, which at this point, your guess is good as mine, that there's no real sense yet. Any sort of maneuvering with the rotation is more just to keep those guys fresh for October. It's not like they're counting down the days to see who's going to start game one of an NLDS at Wrigley, but certainly once the Cubs clinch, that's really the only thing we're going to have to talk about, so we'll have to get used to it, find different angles, I guess.
This front office has done such good work. You're starting to hear Jason McLeod, Shiraz Raymond, members of the front office be in conversations with other jobs opening. The Minnesota Twins have to hire a general manager, and it'll be interesting to see if and when Jason McLeod moves on, because he's a very popular guy in the game.
Yeah, without a doubt, Len. I mean, Jed framed it as inevitable that he would eventually get that, kind of baseball operations job of running an entire department for himself. Jed confirmed the Twins have asked for permission to interview McLeod, who's obviously between the Red Sox, Padres, and Chicago has a long track record in scouting and player development, from Dustin Pedroia all the way through, Chris Bryant, Kyle Schwarber. So at this point, word is that the Twins might be looking at kind of that two-tiered system with a president of baseball operations and a general manager, similar to what they're doing in Chicago. I'm sure McLeod will be conflicted, but kind of the feeling around the Cubs is that at some point he's going to leave to kind of run his own shop.
Right. Always good stuff from our Cubs insider, Patrick Mooney. Again, check him out, CSNChicago.com. Nice weather here in St. Louis, and the Cubs and the Cardinals renew their rivalry coming up on CSN.
Cubs fans, stay close to your boys in blue right here at CSNChicago.com. We're bringing you the top stories, team news, and video that you crave all in one place. Phenomenal coverage. And you can trust insider Patrick Mooney to bring you the very latest from the clubhouse. Then head over to the Pulse page and get your social on. Check out the standings, the schedule, stats, and gear up at the shop. It's all one click away. It's that easy.
We all know that Jake's our ace, but in April, he was much more than that. He was unhittable.
Swing and a miss. 3 outs away.
And our offense was unstoppable.
Grand slam time. 13-0.
But on that night, it was all about Arrieta.
It's a no-hitter. Jake Arrieta has done it again.
Wow, that was fun. St. Louis and the self-proclaimed best fans in baseball have dominated the NL Central for years. Last season's playoff exit, courtesy of the Cubs, was a sign of the upcoming change of the guard. Tonight, Cardinals Nation bows down to the inevitable new leaders of the pack.
Welcome back to Busch Stadium. The Cubs and the Cardinals tonight. Cardinals have won 7 of 13 in this season series, but as JD mentioned earlier, they have fared better at Wrigley Field than here. The Cubs have won 4 of the 6 games in this ballpark. The Cardinals 5-2 at Wrigley. So JD, everybody here is saying, well, the Cardinals have this tough road trip coming up. Maybe that'll be good for them to get away from home.
Yeah, that's been very difficult to explain the Cardinals' struggles here in their ballpark, their home ballpark this year. 32-39 here at home. Last year, they were 55-26 here in their home ballpark, tied for the best home record in Major League Baseball. If they finish with a losing record here this year, and they likely will, it'll be the first time that has happened since 1999, and only the 4th time since 1985 they've had a losing record here at Busch Stadium.
So after this series, they will head off to San Francisco, Colorado, and Chicago. That'll be a 10-game trip before they return home to play the Reds and the Pirates to close out the regular season. Time now for greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. And we promise it's coming.
Fred Bird's got it in his back pocket.
Addison Russell last night with a booming home run in Houston. His 20th of the season, second youngest Cub to have a 20-homer campaign. Ron Santo, when he was 21, the only other Cub 22 or younger to hit 20 in a season. Fourth shortstop to do it. Ernie Banks did it 7 times. Roy Smalley back in 1950. Alex Gonzalez hit 20 in 2003. Now the Cubs Southwest starting lineup. And yes, Russell is in there. Fowler, Bryant, and Rizzo at the top. Zobrist, Russell, and Montero in the middle. Miguel Montero's had a nice road trip. Jason Hayward has really struggled on this particular trip. 0 for 17. Javier Baez had 2 hits and scored twice last night in Houston. And Kyle Hendricks, the pitcher, will bat tonight.
And here are the Cardinals defensively this evening. It's brought to you by Arby's. Hazel Baker gets a start in left. Grichuk center. He's really good out there. Piscotty in right. Peralta, Jerko, Wong, Carpenter, and a little bit of a new look infield for the Cardinals as they continue to deal with some injury problems. They've used 6 different starters at first base this year. Yadier Molina is behind the plate, and the Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is the single-digited right-hander Mike Leake, making his 27th start. He's won 9, lost 9, has a 4.61 ERA. Finesse guy, sinks it, cuts it, curveball, slider, and a change. 5-year, $80 million free agent deal to join the Cardinals this season through 2020, plus a club option.
We'll set the umpires. The crew chief Joe West will call balls and strikes tonight. Andy Fletcher is at first. Kerwin Danley at second, and Mark Ripperger over at third. Nice night here in St. Louis.
Lovely night.
Leak to Fowler to get us started, and a fastball at 90 is in for a strike.
Yeah, he's not going to light up the radar gun. A little bit below average velocity. It's about movement, command. He's a strike thrower, boy. He walks very few.
Second start off the DL, the 199th start of his career. He works quickly. The aforementioned weather. "75 degrees. Wind does not seem to be much of a factor. Two Fowler taps up along first, foul. 13 trips over the weekend in Houston to the plate. 3 hits, 5 walks.
Yeah, he hasn't done a whole lot with the bat over the last 2-3 weeks. He continues to take his walks. Sees a lot of pitches, works long at bats. Usually when he gets on base, good things happen for the Cubs. I mentioned Leake being a strike thrower. He has the lowest walk rate in the National League. 3.8% of all plate appearances against Leake end up in a free pass. Only Josh Tomlin and Rick Porcello over there in the American League a little bit better.
On the ground to first, that's Matt Carpenter to the bag unassisted for the first out.
And when he's on his game, there'll be a lot of ground balls too. He has the 4th highest ground ball rate in the National League.
Chris Bryant comes in at .299 on the year. Go ahead RBI double in the first inning last night. 2-run homer and a 2-0 win on Friday. He's 3 out of 21 on the road trip, but has made a couple of those hits count big time. And then he takes a cutter off the outside corner. '91 wins for the Cubs with 20 games to go. So if I do the math, the Cubs could go 9-11 I don't think they will. I think they'll be better than that, but 9-11 would get them to 100 victories. 2-1. Line shot out in the right center for a base hit. Big turn around first. Chris has the first hit of the night.
Good solid line drive single here by Bryant. Stays through that ball nicely.
Cardinals will overshift toward the right side of the infield against Rizzo.
Rizzo with very good numbers against Mike Leake. 343 batting average. A couple of long ones.
Slicing drive to left out of play. Bryant's hit gets him back to the 300 mark. I have not asked KB about it, but I know the answer. He knows his average, and he would love to finish the season with a 3 in front of that batting average. Rizzo would have to get pretty hot. He's at 292.
Yeah, it's amazing. We talk so much about batting average being an overrated statistic, and it is, but it's still it's one of those magic numbers to bat 300. The guy who finishes the year hitting 298 will be lamenting a bad official scores decision or getting robbed by an infielder on a ball that he thought was going to be a base hit.
On the ground could be 2, and it will be a double play. That went 5-6-3 with the shift. Cardinals coming up when we come back to St. Louis.
The Honda Take Home a CRV sales event is here with incredible deals. Loaded with standard features like Pandora compatibility, a multi-angle rear view camera, and plenty of cargo space. It's no wonder the CRV was named a Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Buy for 2016. Hurry into the Honda Take Home a CRV sales event and get a great deal today.
We are the Coors Brewing Company, and our mountain is brewing the world's most refreshing beer. A beer proud enough to wear our name in big, red, scripted letters. That's why we lager, filter, and package cold. Because we believe every climb deserves a refreshing finish. Whatever your mountain, climb on.
Pull up a chair.
Pull up 6 chairs. My $5.99 dining sets come with 6 chairs.
Not the usual 4 you get from the other guys.
Go with the traditional styling of my Woodmark set. All 7 pieces, only $5.99.
The Matrix, transitional panache. 7 pieces, only $5.99.
Or my X Factor, casual pub height, table and 6 chairs. You guessed it, only $5.99.
Need more space? Each table is expandable, big or small.
Untouchable, only at my Bob's Discount Furniture.
Here's the Cardinals Southwest starting lineup. They had a ton of home runs. They're a station-to-station team. They don't run very much. Wong, Piscotty, and Carpenter at the top. Grichuk, Molina, and Jerko in the middle. Notice no Matt Holliday. He's on the DL. Remember, he's got a broken thumb after getting hit at Wrigley Field. Peralta, Hazelbaker, and Leake, who can really handle the bat.
How about the Cubs defensively, presented by Arby's? Boy, were they good. Last night in Houston, they made a number of sparkling plays. It's Zobrist, Fowler, Hayward in the outfield. Bryant, Russell, Baez, Rizzo, third to first. Miguel Montero behind the plate, and Alexis pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Kyle Hendricks, who's been awfully close to perfect for an extended period of time now, making his 27th start, 28th appearance, 14-7, with a major league best 2.07 ERA. League hits 206 against him. He's been tough on both left and righties. 19 consecutive starts allowing 3 or fewer earned runs. 7 straight starts allowing 2 runs or fewer. and on we go.
So Hendricks to Colton Wong. Outside corner and a strike.
Still needs to mark the box that says W against the Cardinals. He has not beaten St. Louis yet. 6 regular season starts, 1 in the postseason.
Starting tonight, the Cubs will face only the National League Central to finish the regular season. Jam shot liner to Chris Bryant for the first out. And this has been a nice season for the Cubs against their own division. I mean, they've been good against everybody. 15-5 against the American League. The only team in this division against whom the Cubs don't have at least 10 wins is the Cardinals. Stephen Piscotty takes ball 1.
Good numbers across the board for Piscotty. Looking for a decent average. Good power numbers.
Two balls, no strikes. And the pitch. That's a call you love to get if you're Kyle Hendricks.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're any pitcher, but especially when you like to work the edges. Ground ball right to Javier Baez. And we'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on Muscatine Power and Water in Muscatine, Iowa. Around the world on the Armed Forces Network. And also those viewers watching us tonight on MLB Network.
Hello, everybody. Hendricks like Leake, a ground ball pitcher. He doesn't have quite the ground ball rate that Leake features. But what has made Kyle Hendricks so good this year is his ability to induce weak contact. Hitters off stride out in front of the changeup. They'll throw that cutter in on their hands, a little sink piece down and away, get him off the end of the barrel.
1 strike on Matt Carpenter. So obviously movement is a part of that, but I would have to think unpredictability would be the other part, right? To upset a hitter's timing.
Yeah, and just in command. He's a pitch maker. You watch him pitch, and I guarantee if you talk to the catchers and say, which Cub pitcher, if you're sitting down there in the bullpen catching, is going to hit the target the highest percentage of the time. I mean, there's a number of candidates, but Hendricks would probably lead the way.
He strikes out Carpenter and has a quick 1-2-3 opening inning.
Thursday, the boys in blue make their return to Wrigley in a primetime matchup with Milwaukee. Watch them swing for the bleachers and try to bring down the Brew Crew. Cubs versus Brewers. Major League Baseball starting Thursday at 7 on CSN Chicago.
You have to trust in the process. Again, it's this mental approach of every time I take the mound, trying to make good pitches, control what's in my control. From there, you can control what the hitter does sometimes.
Inside Look, Kyle Hendricks, presented by Cadillac, premiering Thursday at 11 on CSN.
You're taking an enormous risk speaking with us, so thank you.
Of course.
What was the key to toppling this notorious crime ring?
By keeping my identity a secret, I was able to witness the atrocities firsthand. I've been undercover for 5 years. Anonymity is critical to my survival.
Want to get away? Now you can with Southwest fares as low as $59 one way. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
Now that Big Papi's retiring, he's being smarter with his money.
I need to be smart with my money.
So he's become a super savvy shopper. Oh. That's why the Xfinity Best Offer of the Year is a home run. Lock in your rate for 2 years, plus get the X1 voice remote.
There is no crying in baseball.
It's the Big Papi of deals.
I'm not crying. My eyes are just sweating.
Score our Best Offer of the Year on the X1 Triple Play from Comcast for only $89.99 a month and lock in your rate for 2 years. Go online, call, or visit today.
In Chicago, some things just go together, like front porches and blue W's, bricks and ivy, Waveland Avenue and souvenirs. Jake, and State Farm. Like home and auto insurance with State Farm, they just go together. And they save you time and money. Just another way we're here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today.
Addison Russell, before the 0-2 pitch, shifts to the other side of second base. Didn't matter because Carpenter swung and missed as Ben Zobrist takes low. So 2 questions, JD. Why do you think he did it? And do you think that can mess with a hitter who sees it happen right behind the pitcher?
Part B, I think it could mess with the hitter. Why is he shifting? Why is he moving now? Are they expecting me to pull here? Are they going to throw me an off-speed pitch? Are they going to pitch me in? So are they trying to deke him by moving Russell and then throwing a fastball away? Possibly, but I doubt. I'm guessing Addison was just a little bit late moving. I think somebody in the dugout got his attention and said, hey, we just, play him over there. Maybe regardless of the count, let's go ahead and move on over there. But that would be next level, wouldn't it? If you're trying to deke a hitter by shifting, by blitzing.
Zobrist to deep right, and it will go into the back of the bullpen. And it's 1-0 Cubs.
Well, it's been a quiet second half for Ben, certainly in the power department. But man, he put a charge in that one. A no-doubter for home run number 15 for Ben Zobrist. There's your Ford home run replay. And it's a 1-0 Cub lead because of the efforts of that fine gentleman.
I love how he just very gently sets the bat down as he goes into his home run trot.
Yeah, as much as the conversation in baseball over the last few years is, let guys have fun, let them express their emotions, the bat flips and all that good stuff. We still appreciate a guy who's like, nah, I've been there before. Just what I get paid to do is hit the baseball, so I'm not going to get too jacked up here.
Russell just got a piece. A reminder, Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. That is Ben's second home run since the All-Star break. He hit 13 in the first half. 1-2, Russell fouls, and he got all of it, 422 feet.
Yeah, the other one in the second half came on August 20th against Jake McGee up in Denver.
Russell comes in with 20 on the year, just off the inside corner, and it's 2-2. First Cubs primary shortstop to have a 20-homer 90 RBI campaign since Ernie Banks in 1960. Only Cub as young as Russell to have a 20-homer season again. Ron Santo hit 23 in 1961. Line shot the other way, and leaving his feet, Piscotty with a nice grab.
Tough break for Russell. Real good swing of the bat. But out number 1 for Leake and the Cardinals. Piscotty able to get a good break on that ball and put it away. Take away a base hit, perhaps extra bases from Addison Russell.
Joe has been getting Montero back into the mix behind the plate. 5 for 11 with a home run on this road trip. Fastball is low.
As you contemplate the postseason roster, Miguel Montero peaking at the right time. It's been a rough go for him this year. Everybody's aware of that. But as you see, much better of late. Good quick short stroke there. Out of his last 24 and hitting for some power.
Swing and a miss. He got him.
Cub fans, the best availability for tickets during the final homestand of the regular season would be the Red Series, September 19th through the 21st. Don't miss your chance to catch a game at beautiful Wrigley Field. Visit Cubs.com to get your tickets today.
Well, Jason Hayward greeted with a lot of booing. I feel like more boos than the first time we were in earlier this season. Strike one on Jason. It has been a rough trip. 0 for 17. Outside for a ball, 1-1. Couple of bounces to the second baseman Wong, and the inning is over. Zobrist led it off with a booming home run, and the Cubs grab the early lead, 1-0 in the second.
This is Coach Q at the new Binny's Beverage Depot in Lincolnwood. You should have seen this place 3 months ago. Today it's the largest wine, spirits, and beer superstore on the North Shore. As they say, if you can't find it at Binny's, it's probably not worth drinking.
Good or better? The Hyundai Elantra versus the Honda Civic. The Elantra has available auto emergency braking with pedestrian detection. The Civic doesn't. Hyundai was named #1 in customer loyalty 7 years in a row. Honda wasn't. And only one is backed by America's best warranty.
Hello?
The Hyundai.
What is that? Excuse me?
Better is the reason to buy Hyundai. The 2017 Elantra from Hyundai.
From the first building block to the last coat of paint, Menards is here to help with an 11% rebate on everything, even sale prices, so you can finish your latest project and start planning the next big thing. Attract your favorite birds with an 11% rebate on Performance Seed bird seed. Clean up your yard and save big on Remington chainsaws. Save big money and get an 11% rebate on everything, even sale prices, now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
During baseball season, I don't have time to travel to the wine country, so I do the next best thing. I take a tour from Napa Valley to Bordeaux at Binny's Beverage Depot. Over 7,000 wines from 6 continents. If you can't find it at Binny's, it's probably not worth drinking.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. He's the current MLB ERA leader whose rise to prominence and Cy Young contention has helped propel the Cubs pitching staff to new heights. CSN's David Kaplan goes one-on-one with tonight's starter Kyle Hendricks on Inside Look, presented by Cadillac, premiering this Thursday at 11. Must-see TV.
1-0. The Cubs have the lead. Randall Grichuk in the cleanup spot. Got off to a very slow start. Couple of trips to the minors earlier this season. He's got 22 home runs. He has done a lot of damage against Cubs pitching. He's got a 7-game hitting streak against the Cubs. 3 doubles, 4 homers, including his first career grand slam on his 25th birthday at Wrigley back on August 13th.
Cardinals have hit 204 home runs to lead the National League.
Might not ever be able to live this down, but he was taken 1 pick ahead of Mike Trout. Both drafted by the Angels. 2009, Grichuk 24th overall, Trout 25th as he strikes out. Hey, Cub fans, let's go. Here's your opportunity to register for the chance to purchase 2016 postseason tickets for potential games to be played at Wrigley Field. Go to Cubs.com/postseason to register and learn more about this postseason ticket purchase opportunity. The Cubs will conduct random drawings from among eligible fans who successfully complete the registration form. Big hand for Yadier Molina.
Looks like Yachty's sporting a little bit of a shiner there.
Not an all-star for the first time since 2008. He leads all catchers and hits, doubles, and innings caught. 3 balls, no strikes. And he walked him. So the Cardinals have their first base runner. Now Jed Jerko. He leads their team with 26 homers. He leads the National League with 19 since the break. He's playing short tonight. Aledmys Diaz was activated off the DL yesterday, but has not yet cracked the lineup since he returned. See Montero looking into his dugout. And the 0-1. Double play chance. 6-4 to 3 to end the inning. After 2, it's the Cubs 1 and the Cardinals nothing.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs. I'm attorney Howard Ankin with legendary sportscaster Steve Stone.
And I know the right team knows how to win, like Howard Ankin Law Office.
If you or someone you know needs help with an injury case, I'm here to help. Please give me a call.
Put Howard's number in your phone right now, 312-6-million.
I've been thinking, this might be the one thing in the world you pull apart to come together.
New Papa John's Cinnamon Pull-Aparts covered with cinnamon crumble and sweet cream cheese icing. Try our new Cinnamon Pull-Aparts for just $6.
Hey, Papa John.
Whoa, that doesn't look good. No, not you. Ordinary fuels can clog your engine with dirt. It's like lugging this around. It's dragging down your fuel economy. But over time, using new and improved BP gasoline with Invigorate helps clean up that dirt, like hundreds of scrubbing brushes. So that means a cleaner engine, which helps you get more miles per tank. I'll be here if you need me. New BP gasoline with Invigorate, our best fuel ever.
Discovery Sport, beyond boundaries. Range Rover Evoque, beyond convention. Range Rover Sport, beyond expectations. Wherever you drive, we always take you above and beyond. The new Discovery Sport. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Time now for our Xfinity high-speed action. It's fun to watch Javier Baez do just about everything. Second inning, on with a single. Check that third inning, on with a single. Tags from first on that fly ball to right. Nearly got doubled off here, but a Gurriel throwing error allowed him to get to third, and then he scored on a wild pitch. Actually, I was right. It was the second. He scored in both the second and third, but that was an adventurous trip in that 2-run second. The Cubs at one point last night led 9-0.
And made a lot of noise early, and then the Astros started to chip away a little bit.
Key inning in that game was the bottom of the 6th. We found out afterward that Jake Arrieta was under the weather as he kind of gutted it out for 5 1/3. But Justin Grimm to get out of that inning with only 2 runs allowed did not let the Astros get back in the game.
Had bases loaded, the Astros did. A couple dangerous hitters up. There you go. Here goes again, another Javi adventure.
So from the 8th spot, leadoff single, and now Kyle Hendricks.
And Leake will give up some hits. He gives up the high batting average. I mentioned he doesn't walk many. So he's willing to to challenge a big part of the zone, to give up some hits, to try to get quick outs. And then he's trying to get ground ball double plays. If he can minimize slugging, that's when he's going to be at his best, obviously. This is a bunt situation for Hendricks, but as we've seen time and time again with Joe Madden, maybe not so much.
And he bunts foul. Both these pitchers originally from Southern California. Leake went directly to the major leagues. Reds took him 8th overall in 09 out of Arizona State.
Is that why he wears number 8?
I don't know.
Let's run with it.
Rare to see a pitcher with a single digit.
He and Carl Edwards. Now the bunt becomes a play just to make sure you stay out of a double play.
And he strikes out.
Cub fans, show your team pride with Cubs checking and an official Cubs MasterCard debit card, only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Member FDIC. Yadier Molina, believe it or not, has been below average this year in throwing out base stealers. 51 stolen, 15 caught when Molina behind the plate. 23% caught stealing rate, league average around 27. Does it mean his skills are diminishing? I can't say that conclusively. Maybe the pitchers aren't giving him much of a chance.
Baez was barely off the bag when Leake made that throw.
Yeah, you would think with Leake being a ground ball pitcher, an extreme ground ball pitcher, at some point in this at bat, there'd be some kind of a play on, straight steal, a little run and hit and run. Didn't have to be.
Cardinals are at the point where they might want to scoreboard watch a little bit, and if they did take a peek out in right field, they'd notice the Mets are down big tonight in Washington. 4th inning, 8-1 Nationals. Ground ball and through. Baez will make the turn and he'll get to third.
Good hard base running here by Baez. He has to hesitate a little bit to let this ball get by. Very close to hitting him. He needs to slam on the brakes, reverse field just a little bit, let that ball get through. Still able to push his way to third base. Quick look over his shoulder to assess the situation. Says, yeah, I can do this.
So 1st and 3rd with 1 out for Bryant. Carpenter holds on Fowler. Cardinals a half a game behind the Mets for that second wild card position.
And the Mets, they have this series with the Nationals, and then after that it's very soft for them the rest of the way. I mean, baseball being baseball, you never know. Bad teams get hot, run into some good pitching. Anything's possible, but you have to like their chances when you look at the schedule.
One strike on Bryant. He jammed him with a changeup. And that stung.
You saw Molina hop over inside, so yeah, they wanted to go in with the changeup, but I doubt that they wanted to elevate with the changeup.
Swing and a miss. Big second out for Leake.
That's a slider. You see Bryant expand that much very often.
Yeah, it'd be fair to call Mike Leake a 5-pitch pitcher. You often hear he's a 4-pitch guy. And with the sinker, cutter, changeup, got both breaking balls. I don't know if it's quite kitchen sink. Do you have to have a knuckleball to be kitchen sink?
No, I think you can be kitchen sink without a knuckleball.
I guess if you had a knuckleball plus all those pitches, it would be kitchen sink and dishwasher.
I think you should write an essay for the next Sabre meeting. What defines a kitchen sink pitcher? What percentage of the breakdown of fastballs and breaking pitches, and how many different varieties of each you need to have to be qualified to be a kitchen sink pitcher?
Well, I would start by saying like a minimum of 5 different pitches, and you'd have to throw your fastball less than 50% of the time, right? 1-1, muscled out into right and down for a base hit. Baez scores. Fowler to third. It's 2-0. Anthony Rizzo now 2 RBIs away from 100 on the season. Got 98.
A little redemption for Anthony. He came into this game, as we mentioned last time, up that he had very good numbers against Mike Leake, but he grounded into a double play in the first. This time he gets a ball elevated there up above the belly button. Whacks it into right field. Cubs go first to third again.
So they've got 5 hits already off Leake. Now Zobrist, whose 420-foot-plus home run in the second was his longest of the year.
I think you could be a 4-pitch pitcher and change arm angles and also be a kitchen sink guy.
Oh, I like that. Yep. Here's the home run that gave the Cubs the lead.
You see where Molina was set up. You saw where the pitch ended up. Well, on 2 occasions where it ended up in the strike zone, and then ultimately where it ended up out there in the Cardinal bullpen. A misfire by Leake, crushed by Zobrist.
That one hit hard on the ground, but right to Carpenter and right to the bag to end the inning. 3 hits, including the RBI single by Rizzo. It's 2-0.
Hello? This is she.
Is that the doctor?
Okay, wow, really? It's 2? That's great news, thank you.
It's 2?
Yes, it's 2. It's 2 for 1 windows at Feldco.
Feldco is offering 2 windows for the price of 1, with no money down and no interest for 1 year.
2 windows for the price of 1 ends soon. Hurry. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
When the temperature drops, winter tires are safer below 45 degrees. Buy now and get a $50 Visa prepaid card on any set of winter tires purchased with your Discount Tire credit card. Thank you, Discount Tire.
Heineken Light makes it okay to flip another man's meat.
No. You never flip another man's meat.
Award-winning Heineken Light is the best light beer you've ever tasted.
That's true. Can I have one?
Can I flip your meat?
No.
Suit yourself.
Safety comes standard on the Toyota Corolla, which is probably why we've received such high safety ratings. Then consider that the Corolla is thoroughly tested to ensure quality, so you know it's built to last. It's no wonder 90% of all Toyota Corollas sold in the last 10 years are still on the road today. Tested, trusted, Toyota. Lease a new 2016 Corolla with zero due at signing and zero first month's payment. Or get 0% APR for 72 months on Corolla. Find yours at buyatoyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
He played 182 games for your Chicago Bears, accumulating 41.5 sacks and 22 interceptions. And this season, he's tackling Bears coverage on CSN Chicago. Don't miss The Hard Count, featuring Brian Urlacher, presented by Restore, Thursdays at 10:30.
A lot of Cub fans here in St. Louis. If the Cubs sweep this series, they win the division. Hey, follow In-Game Live on CSNChicago.com, presented by State Farm. Johnny Peralta to lead it off. Cracked his bat as he bounced to Baez. A little bobble. Still time to get him.
Funny, if you've watched enough baseball, you see a ball come off the bat and you just know there's a little troublesome hop headed somebody's way, and that one had trouble written all over it. But after the mishandle, Baez able to recover in time to get Peralta, who does not run particularly well.
Now Jeremy Hazelbaker playing left. Referenced Matt Holliday. He's on the DL. He's got a broken thumb. Brandon Moss has been slumping. Cardinals are an interesting club when you look at their position players. They've got a lot of moving parts, and I haven't asked Mike Matheny, but there might be certain nights where it's tough to figure out which 8 guys he's going to start, right? No Aledmys Diaz tonight. No Matt Adams. No Brandon Moss.
Well, he's been leaning on Moss heavily. He's hit for a lot of power, but he's in this deep funk, so I think he decided finally to pull the plug on him and give him a day or two off.
Now the pitcher, Leak. Well, Joe Madden usually has one big decision to make on a night-to-night basis. Tonight it was Baez or Coughlin, right? Because Chris Coughlin has these sparkling numbers against Mike Leake. And it's hard to take Baez's glove out of the lineup.
Yeah, and with Hendricks pitching, he really likes Baez second, Russell short. A lot of ground balls through the middle of the diamond when Kyle's on the mound.
Leake can hit. Among active pitchers, only Zach Greinke has a higher career batting average. Leake at 205 lifetime.
Yeah, he can pinch hit. He can pinch run. He's got a little Travis Wood in his game.
And at one time those guys were teammates. Hendricks to first. An 8-pitch 1-2-3 third for Kyle Hendricks. 2-0 Cubs.
They say a lot of things about rain, like how hard it's gonna fall, the things it does to your parade. We've got a saying about rain too. When it rains, it roars. The all-wheel drive lineup from Dodge. Domestic, not domesticated.
Get 20% off MSRP cash allowance for an average of $6,500 in savings on select 2016 Grand Caravan SXT Plus models in dealer stock.
Cricket's got you covered like a blanket on a pig. Our plans cost little and our network is big. Like a great big gorilla in a pompadour wig. Great is great when big is big. You can text and like and swipe and stream
feel like you're spinning?
Like you're stuck in the same place in life? Just going round and round and round? Yeah, man. Been there.
No, actually spinning.
Oh, we can fix that by going to Midas. They have a great selection of tires. Sorry, Doug. I thought you were trying to get deep.
Nah.
Trust the Midas touch. For tires, brakes, oil, everything.
Welcome to Wrigley Field. And it is gone! We're tied! Rizzo gets on the top. He makes a catch. Cubs win! Cubs win!